The definition of a circle is that it is the set of all points that are equidistant from some central point. That means that you take some point and find all the points that are the same distance away from that point. That will give you a circle. So say you want to find all the points that are 8 units away from some central point. We could put some central point here. Say we want to find all the points that are 8 units away. Well, that would be those 4 at least. You could put in some more, all these points here, these would all be 8 units away from the center point. If you fill in all of those points, you would get a nice circle. Now there's a way that we can talk generally about this. So let's ignore the 8. Let's just use some variable so that we can talk about it generally instead of saying 8. So in this particular case, that distance would be 8. But let's not call it 8, let's call it r, just so we can speak generally about it. Okay, so if we look at that point, that radius has a point where it hits the circle. And that point has some x and y values. So let's talk about how it is that we would be able to relate the radius of the circle there to that point, xy. Well, something we've done often so far here has been to make a right triangle. And so if we make a right triangle going to that xy coordinate point, then the bottom leg of the right triangle, this is the x coordinate. And the leg on the right, the up and down leg, this is the y coordinate. And so that triangle, that right triangle, has one leg as the x coordinate of the point, one leg as the y coordinate of the point, and then the distance from 0, 0 to that point is the radius of the circle. It's the hypotenuse of the triangle. And this is a right triangle, so we can use the Pythagorean theorem. We can say x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And that right there, that is the equation of a circle in the Cartesian coordinate plane. So this right here, this will tell you, this will define a circle in the Cartesian coordinate plane. And it should be noted, we can do this with any coordinate point we want. Say we pick something over here. So what it means for that to be the equation of the line is that it works for all of these points. And so we can pick some other point. And again, the top of this right triangle is the x value. The vertical part on the left, that is the y value. And then the radius is still the radius. So we call that r. And again, x squared plus y squared equals r squared. No matter where you are in this circle, that equation will define where you are. All right, example 1. Graph the circle given by the equation x squared plus y squared equals 5 squared. Well, when we have our circle centered at the point 0, 0, then if we have that 5 squared there, that means that it has a radius of 5 from the center. So we can draw this very simply by just drawing all the points that are 5 units away, have a radius of 5 from the center, and we can, those 4 are nice and easy, but again, we could plot all kinds of them. We can then just draw a circle going through all of those points. All right, let's take the point 2, negative 5. That's right here. And we have that on a circle that is centered at the origin. And we want to know the equation of that circle. Well, let's make a right triangle. So we have from the origin, we have some x value here, which is, in this case, 2. Some y value here, which in this case is negative 5. And then we have the hypotenuse, which would be the radius of the circle. I'm going to call that r. So we don't know what the radius of the circle is now. And by the way, when you're building an equation, if you look at the previous ones, the only thing you need to know for the equation is the radius. So the x squared and y squared, those are part of the equation. And you have those two added together, and that equals the radius squared. So we just need the radius. That's all we need. So we need to find that radius. We can find it with the Pythagorean theorem. So we can say 2 squared plus negative 5 squared equals r squared. That's 4 plus 25 equals r squared. There we go, r squared. And that's 29 equals r squared. Take the square root of both sides. We get r equals the square root of 29. So to build the equation, we say x squared plus y squared equals the square root of 29, the radius, squared. And then we can simplify that to x squared plus y squared equals 29. So square root of 29 squared is 29. You should be able to do part of the homework on the bottom of the page here. So before you go on to the next video, I would suggest you do 1, 3 through 10, 24, and 25.